You're listening to One Bright Star's Life After Loss, a podcast that's focused on the lifelong journey of life after loss, with your hosts Erica Fisher and Alicia Moore. One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast is sponsored by the law firm of Burkholz and Associates. And now, One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast.
Hello, and welcome to One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast. I'm Erica Fisher, Executive Director for One Bright Star.
And Alicia Moore, President of One Bright Star.
And today we have Deb. Deb is the Vice President of One Bright Star. Pretty much amazing woman. Hello, Deb.
Hello, Erica.
How are you today?
I am very well, thanks.
Fantastic. So, like I said, Deb has been on the board for... How long have you been on the board, Deb?
Has it been 4 years?
Maybe.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Sure. 4 years. 4 years, and Deb joined One Bright Star because she lost her daughter, Crystal. How many years ago has it been?
It was in 2015, or 2005, excuse me.
2005. Okay. Mm-hmm. So not only does Deb do a lot of other wonderful things for One Bright Star, but she actually she's kind of the leader of Comfort Coffee. Comfort Coffee is a group of parents that get together once a month and talk and have coffee. Deb, you want to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It is it's a wonderful event. It's very casual. It's certainly not mandatory. It's voluntary, and it's open to any parent or even a grandparent if you wish to come. We set aside an hour the fourth Tuesday of every month and meet at the Marriott Hotel in the lobby. We visit and share stories, and sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. It just depends who's in the group and what's going on at that particular moment. You know, we've had several regular people that have attended. Of course, we had to take a hiatus because of COVID, but we're back at it. We're always looking for, additional people to join us and share their story, and we all support one another, and we've built some really good friendships.
And you have built really good friendships. I've talked to some of the people who participate in Comfort Coffee, and they adore you. They adore coming to Comfort Coffee. It's gotten them involved in a lot of other events that One Bright Star hosts, and I just hear wonderful things about it.
Well, I've made some amazing connections through it, and would hope to make many more in the future. But other thing that we talked about is that everyone is not available to come on a Tuesday morning. So we've thrown around an idea about possibly doing an evening event and maybe a spin-off of Comfort Cocktails. And so that's something that has been talked about, and we would certainly welcome any feedback from anyone that would be interested in participating. If we could get some ideas on what days work best or what times.
I like comfort and I like cocktails.
Well, you're welcome to join us.
I certainly will.
Something that's really neat, Deb, is I remember when we talked to Linda, one of the founding mothers, and she talked about one of the reasons for the mothers to get together was that they wanted to be able to connect and network with other parents, other people, so you didn't feel alone. And the thing that's really neat is when you have a place that people can go, it's very informal, as you said, casual, but it gives people an opportunity to be with other people. They don't have to have the same backgrounds or anything, but they have one thing in common, and that's that they've lost a child or have had someone that has lost a child, but that commonality brings them together, and then there's so many other things that can spin off of that. So it's wonderful. It makes the board feel so proud when we hear about the great connections and the outreach that people are feeling with the Comfort Coffee, and so we certainly appreciate you doing that.
Thanks for saying that. It's a very non-threatening environment. As I said, it's just we support one another no matter what the circumstances of the loss were. And it's certainly welcome to or open to fathers. We have had a few men join us. They're not as consistent. I'm sure it's all about scheduling, but that's another thing we thought might help is if we did the cocktails, men might be more inclined to join and share and reach out and support one another. So
Something that you mentioned to us when we were visiting right before we went on recording was that you said that when people get together, they're invited to share, but they don't have to. You can just come and listen, but you know that you're in a group, and like you said, it's not formal. It's so much more casual, and you even mentioned that sometimes we are invited to share our story, our loss, but then someone might have some wonderful news. Maybe they're expecting a grandchild, or maybe their other son had a great accomplishment, and it's just that you all come together and you're able to share.
right, and it's kind of a, what do I want to say? It's kind of an extension of your family in some ways. And it's very non-judgmental, as I said. It doesn't matter what the circumstance of the child's passing was. That really has no bearing on it. The fact that we've all had that loss and are suffering in our own ways and can just lift each other up and share and be there. Just be there. You don't have to say a word. So it's a great thing.
And I love that. They have somewhere to go. That isn't, like you said, judgmental and non-threatening. That's important. I guess I'd never really thought about that. To put myself in your shoes, to talk about Crystal, it's overwhelming probably sometimes, and it shouldn't have to be overwhelming. It should be.
Having that safe environment is really good. And the other thing that sometimes I think we want them to know that when you come to Comfort Coffee, there's not a schedule. There is not, an agenda. An agenda, correct. Thank you. We don't have counselors there. We don't do, there's no homework when you leave.
No
it
therapy,
is basically,
yeah.
Right, exactly. No therapy. It is just connections. People getting together that have, some commonality and just being friends. And
right. And I think the thing that sets it apart, sort of touched on this, is that it doesn't pigeonhole you. There are support groups for people have lost children from SIDS or suicide or whatever, cancer, but those are specific. This is, as I said, just the commonality is the loss. The way it happened doesn't really matter.
Right. And that's, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say One Bright Star does focus on that a lot. Like it doesn't matter how you lost your child. It's that you lost a child. There's no certain way or it's like you said, it's just.
And there's everybody, different walks of life, but they can all come together. And as a resource, we provide this area, this comfort zone for people to be. If they want more information, we can provide that, or, website, we can look into information. But as you mentioned, Deb, there are specific support groups for families, that have lost a child to SIDS or a young infant or suicide or all different things, cancer, whatever the situation may be. This, I think it's just wonderful. With the board, we all come together and we try to think of what it is, what could we do that would be helpful to parents and be a good resource. And I remember when we were brainstorming at our board meeting, and I believe you threw out the idea. You named it. You coined it.
Well, that was because I misheard Linda say, "Come for coffee." My head heard "Comfort Coffee," and
we thought it was perfect because that's what we want, is to be a comfort.
Yeah, I won't clean my ears, I promise.
We want to be a place of comfort. And then it's really fit in well. And like you said, unfortunately, we needed to take time off with COVID, like everything else.
The nice thing about that, though, is because of the connections, I was able to stay in touch with many of the people that come and have been regulars. So it was really nice.
That's amazing.
When we got back together, it was like we hadn't missed a beat.
Yep.
That's really good. That's great.
And I've attended a couple of Comfort Coffees, and I don't say much, but I listen, and I've been there when there's been crying. I've been there when people are laughing, a new grandbaby coming. It's Christmas time. We're getting all the ornaments out. It's beautiful but emotional at the same time. You know, I mean, I've witnessed all of that, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The group of friends, the group that attend Comfort Coffee. I just love that.
I think that people walk away, what we're hearing, and that's so much credited to you. They walk away and their heart feels good. It's really difficult, but yet they walk away knowing that they're not alone. There are other people, and for that hour, it was really good to be together.
It's a good outlet.
Yes.
Do you feel better after you leave Comfort Coffee?
Depends on the day. Some days get very emotional, and it can be very draining, but other days it's very uplifting and positive, and you come out with a big smile on your face. So, like I said, there's no agenda.
Right. And that almost sounds like a grief journey. Some days are good and some days are really difficult. And
there's no set schedule on a grief journey.
Right.
And it's interesting to hear the various ways that people are coping, because there's no right way to do that either.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong way, and no judgment, like you said.
Yes, that's excellent. So I really hope that we do get people that are interested in our comfort cocktails. And just because it says comfort cocktails doesn't mean that we're all going to be getting together and just drinking. Obviously, you have the option to enjoy a drink. It's probably more an evening setting.
Right.
And that's what we wanted to try.
Yep. It's a little bit of more...
flexible with hours.
Exactly.
Probably,
and hopefully drawing some of the fathers. And
I know for me,
wonderful.
I'd be able to come to Comfort Cocktails easier than Comfort Coffee just because of the workday and the time.
Yeah. And we could certainly do Comfort Coffee in the evening, but it'd have to be decaf.
I love it.
I know. I'm finding that I can't do coffee at night anymore. Or like 4:00 is it. Maybe.
Then
That's
you're
pushing
done.
it, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Deb, thank you so much for everything that you do for One Bright Star and for sharing Comfort Coffee and just creating wonderful relationships and giving other parents or anybody who's lost a child or experienced the loss of a friend who's lost a child or anything like that. Thank you for giving them a comfortable place, a safe place to be.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for joining One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast. Life After Loss is a copyrighted production of One Bright Star. One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast is sponsored by the law firm of Burkholz and Associates. For more information on the lifelong journey after losing a loved one, please visit our website at onebrightstar.org.